Hello.
Hello.
Ooh. Yes, please.
White chocolate.
Thank you.
You got it.
Love you.
If you just watched that clip and felt your heart grow 3 sizes, congratulations, you are still human. If you didn't feel anything, please check your pulse or your media training handbook because, whew, that was real love in HD. What we just saw was not a PR stunt, not a setup, not a carefully choreographed royal moment. What we saw was Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, casually walking into her husband's office with chocolates, and Prince Harry responding like a man who is genuinely happy, genuinely relaxed, and genuinely in love. And I know, already, somewhere, someone is furiously typing, "It's staged!" Yes, of course, because apparently the only thing Harry and Meghan are allowed to stage is their misery. Joy? Absolutely not. That's forbidden, illegal, canceled. But let's talk about what actually happened here, because this tiny moment carries more truth than 1,000 tabloid headlines. Meghan walks into Harry's office holding as ever chocolates. Already, pause, because this is important. This is her brand, her work, her creativity, her joy. And she's sharing it with the person who matters most to her, not to sell it, not to perform it, but because that's what partners do. They include each other. Harry looks up and immediately his entire face changes. Not the public engagement smile, not the royal neutral, but that soft, real, slightly bashful smile that says, "Oh, it's you." The kind of smile you don't fake. The kind tabloids swear he never has anymore. Oops. He chooses the white chocolate, decisive, unbothered, living his best life, and then he says, "Thank you." Manners. Kindness, respect, all those things critics claim he lost when he left the palace. Funny how they magically reappear when he's around his wife. And then, without thinking, without pausing, without checking if the camera is rolling, he says it. "I love you." Not loud, not dramatic, not for applause, just natural, automatic, like breathing. And that is what drives people insane, because real love is inconvenient to a narrative built on resentment, bitterness, and constant predictions of divorce. Real love messes up talking points. Real love refuses to cooperate with people who have been waiting, desperately, for the collapse that never comes. Let's be clear. This is not the love of fairy tales. This is the love of real life. The love that exists in offices, kitchens, car rides, whispered jokes, shared glances. The kind of love that doesn't need a balcony or a crown to be valid. Harry is in his office. There are personal touches everywhere. Photos, mementos, a space that reflects a man who has built a life on his own terms. And Meghan walks into that space not as an accessory, not as a shadow, but as an equal, as his partner, as his home. And look at his body language. Relaxed, open, happy. This is not a man under control. This is not a man trapped. This is a man at peace. A man who has chosen love over performance, authenticity over approval, and peace over proximity to people who never truly protected him. Now, let's address the elephant that always storms into the room screaming for attention, the UK media. Because moments like this expose the lie. For years, they have insisted Harry is miserable, isolated, regretful, controlled. And yet, here he is, laughing, smiling, choosing chocolate, saying "I love you" like it's second nature. No stiffness, no fear, no hesitation. How awkward. Because if Harry were truly unhappy, you wouldn't see this ease. If Meghan were truly manipulative, you wouldn't see this softness. You can't fake comfort. You can't fake safety. You can't fake the way someone's shoulders drop when the person they trust most walks into the room. This is what love looks like when it isn't filtered through hierarchy and surveillance. And let's talk about Meghan for a moment, because, of course, we must. Meghan didn't announce the moment. She didn't narrate it. She didn't explain it. She simply shared it. That's confidence. That's security. That's a woman who doesn't need to convince anyone of her marriage because she's living it. She brought chocolates. Not diamonds, not drama, chocolates. Thoughtful, small, intimate, a thinking of you gesture, the kind of thing people in healthy relationships do every day without cameras or headlines. And yet, this tiny moment has more emotional truth than entire documentaries produced by people who claim to know them. Because love doesn't shout, love doesn't leak stories, love doesn't brief anonymous sources. Love shows up quietly, says thank you, and follows it with I love you. And here's what really matters. Harry didn't say it for the audience. He said it for her. That's the part that can't be spun. This wasn't performative affection. This was instinct. This was muscle memory. This was a man who feels safe enough to express love without self-consciousness. And given where he comes from, an environment notoriously allergic to emotional openness, that's not small. That's revolutionary. Think about the contrast. A life where feelings were managed, monitored, and minimized, versus a life where love is spoken freely, without fear of ridicule or reprimand. No wonder he chose this life. No wonder he protects it. And no wonder people who benefit from his unhappiness can't stand seeing him happy. Because here's the truth they don't want to admit. Harry didn't lose anything by choosing Meghan. He gained himself. He gained laughter, he gained peace, he gained a partner who sees him, supports him, and brings him chocolate in the middle of the day just because. And Meghan? She gained a husband who adores her openly, without shame, without restraint, without checking the optics. That's not weak love, that's brave love. So when people ask why do they keep sharing these moments, the answer is simple: because they can. Because they're not hiding, because they're not pretending, because joy doesn't need permission. And every time they share something this small, this gentle, this human, it quietly dismantles years of noise. No shouting required. And here's the quiet detail that makes this moment linger long after the clip ends. There was no rush, no urgency, no back to business energy. Just a pause where time seemed to slow, where work could wait because connection came first. That's not something you rehearse, it's something you live. It shows a relationship rooted in presence, where affection isn't scheduled or squeezed in between obligations, but naturally woven into the day. In that brief exchange, you see two people who haven't let ambition, pressure, or public scrutiny harden them. Instead, they've chosen tenderness as a daily practice. And in a world that constantly demands armor, choosing softness like that is a radical, beautiful act. So yes, this was a short clip, barely seconds long, and yet it spoke volumes. It said, we're good. It said, we're real. It said, we're still choosing each other. And that, more than anything, is why it resonates. Because in a world addicted to spectacle, Harry and Meghan keep winning by doing the simplest thing of all: loving each other out loud, softly, genuinely, unapologetically. And honestly, that's the most powerful statement of all. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.